Texas doesn't just stretch wide, it stretches deep. Beneath its highways and quiet towns, there are cases no one solves, questions no one answers, and families still waiting for a knock that never comes. Some vanished in silence, some were found in ways no one can explain, and some were never supposed to be remembered. These aren't legends, they're real and they're still open. Put on your headphones, turn off the lights, and cover yourself well, because after this video, you'll never see Texas the same way again. The disappearance of Jason Landry, a road that swallowed a life. Luling, Texas, December 13th, 2020. It was a quiet Sunday night, a straight road, a single car, a young man heading home for Christmas. He never made it. Jason Landry was 21, a college student studying music at Texas State University in San Marcos. Kind, laid back, always smiling. That night, around 11:30 p.m., Jason left campus to drive to his parents' house in Missouri City, a drive he'd done dozens of times. He texted friends, played music, everything normal. But somewhere along Salt Flat Road, just outside Luling, something went wrong. At approximately 12:31 a.m., his car was found crashed and abandoned. Not wrecked, just stopped. The rear of the car was backed into a tree. Not fast, no blood, no airbag deployment. The lights were still on. The keys were in the ignition. His wallet, phone, and backpack were inside, untouched. But stranger, his clothes, shirt, shorts, socks, were found on the road, 900 feet from the car, scattered in a trail. And Jason himself? Gone. By dawn, search teams had flooded the area. Drones, helicopters, dogs, mounted patrol, hundreds of volunteers. Cadaver dogs hit on a scent trail that led down the road through a barbed wire fence and into a field, before ending abruptly at a nearby pond. Divers found nothing. Thermal imaging found nothing. There were no footprints, no drag marks, no signs of a struggle, just a silent field, and a family screaming into the dark. The sheriff's department proposed a theory. Jason crashed, got disoriented, and walked off into the cold. Maybe hypothermia. Maybe he drowned. But then the details keep pushing back. Why were his clothes removed and left in a trail? Why would a sober, healthy young man walk nearly a mile naked into the wilderness? Why was there no sign of him on any camera, driveway, or private property for miles? And why did the scent trail just stop? Some locals whisper about the back roads of Caldwell County, old rumors, people disappearing, drug trafficking corridors, people being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Others wonder if Jason was taken by someone who knew how to disappear someone without a sound. And a small group of online sleuths have suggested something more unusual, that Jason might have entered a thin place, one of those rare charged spots where reality flickers, and people simply slip through. But the family? They just want their son back. As of today, Jason Landry remains missing. There have been no credible sightings, no remains, no confirmed evidence since that night. His parents still update his case file, still hold vigils, still ask every single day what happened on that quiet stretch of road. Because something did, and someone knows. And if a college student can vanish without a trace, and what does that say about the places we drive through every day? Because in Texas, sometimes the road doesn't take you home. It takes you somewhere else. The Picos Jane Doe, the girl in the tank. Picos, Texas, July 5, 1961. It was already hot when the rancher found her, a young woman face down in a stock tank, half submerged in muddy water. She wasn't from around there. No one knew her name. And 60 years later, no one still does. The scene was eerie in its stillness. The rancher had walked out that morning to check water levels in the tank, a shallow concrete reservoir used for livestock. Instead, he saw a shape, human, floating, motionless. He called the authorities. The girl was pulled from the water. No ID, no bag, no shoes, just a plain blue blouse, a small tattoo on her left forearm, a crude heart with the name Paul inside, and a ring, later identified as handmade, possibly from Mexico. She was estimated to be between 16 and 25 years old. Cause of death, drowning but not accidental. The autopsy showed no water in the lungs. She had been placed in the tank after she was already dead. For months, the sheriff's office tried to identify her. They contacted schools, checked missing persons, interviewed locals. Nothing matched. Her body was in good condition. No major injuries, no clear trauma. But what haunted investigators was the look on her face. Not fear, not confusion, just emptiness, like whatever had happened had already taken everything from her before she died. Some believed she was a runaway, perhaps from a border town. Others suggested she may have been sex trafficked, dumped when she was no longer useful. And then there were darker ideas, that she had been part of a ritual or killed for witnessing something she shouldn't have seen. But without a name, nothing stuck. They buried her in the local cemetery. A small marker, no date, just the words, Jane Doe, known only to God. In the early 2000s, amateur sleuths and genealogists reopened the case. Using forensic sketches, archived reports and DNA extraction from her remains, they uploaded her profile to Namus and Gedmatch. A few tentative leads emerged, but none confirmed. Her tattoo, Paul, remains unexplained. The ring, now missing from evidence, may have been the key. One detective quietly admitted, "We might have had her ID once and someone took it away." The tank has long since dried out, the ranch sold, but Pecos locals still tell the story of the girl with no name. And some say if you stand near the site at dusk, you can still hear a soft splash, as if something just entered the water, not fell, placed. So who was she? Why was she killed? And who made sure no one would ever know her name? Because in Texas, sometimes the only thing more terrifying than how someone died is how completely the world let them disappear. The Trinity River drownings, a pattern beneath the surface. Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. The Trinity River winds quietly through the cities, calm, brown, familiar. But look beneath the surface, and you'll find something deeper than water. Over the years, bodies have surfaced, again and again, in the same stretch, same profile, same silence. And the scariest part, no one is talking about it. It began quietly in the 1990s. A body pulled from the river near downtown Dallas. A young man, college age, no obvious wounds, ruled accidental drowning. Then another and another. Some were reported missing days before. Others just vanished one night. And when they were found, the stories didn't match the evidence. One was found still wearing his backpack, filled with dry items. Another had ligature marks that couldn't be confirmed. Many had no water in the lungs. Yet every single one, labeled accidental, case closed. Between 1996 and 2023, over 30 young men have been pulled from the Trinity River between Dallas and Fort Worth, most within a 15-mile stretch. Many were male, aged 18-30, disappeared after a night out, found fully clothed, with phones, wallets, and IDs intact, declared no foul play. Despite strange bruising or unexplained trauma, several families questioned the official cause. Some hired private investigators. One mother said bluntly, "My son didn't fall in, he was put there." Locals started whispering about a Trinity killer, or multiple. Some tied the deaths to a gang initiation ritual, others to law enforcement silence, citing how many of the cases were closed within days, without full autopsies. Even more disturbing, when compared to similar cases along the Chicago and Mississippi rivers, patterns emerged. Same victim profiles, same recovery patterns, same lack of answers. Some believe these aren't local crimes at all, but part of a network, using rivers as quiet dumping grounds. And Dallas may be one of their hubs. Police departments continue to insist that there's no evidence of a serial offender or connected activity. Yet in multiple recovered bodies, medical examiners noted injuries inconsistent with drowning. One body had broken orbital bones, another had chemical traces in the blood, still ruled accidental, still no suspects, still no follow-up. Why? Some residents say the Trinity is cursed, a place where things wash up that were never meant to be found. Others speak of surveillance blind spots, quiet government interest, or even ancient stories from indigenous tribes about a hungry water that doesn't take people, it keeps them. But maybe the truth is simpler and more terrifying. Someone is putting them there, and someone else is making sure we forget. So how many have to drown before we stop calling it an accident? Because in Texas, when a pattern hides in plain sight, sometimes the river isn't just water, it's a grave. The Devils Sinkhole, the sound that shouldn't be there. Rock Springs, Texas. Middle of nowhere, just brush, dirt and heat, and then a hole in the earth perfectly round, 400 feet deep, and full of noise. Locals call it the Devil's Sinkhole. It's beautiful, majestic, but some say when you stand near the edge, you can hear it breathe. The Devil's Sinkhole is a real natural wonder, a collapsed limestone cavern with a 50-foot wide opening that drops straight into blackness, designated a state natural area, protected, visited, admired. During summer months, thousands of Mexican free-tailed bats spiral out of the pit at dusk, a breathtaking, natural spectacle. But what isn't part of the tour? The sound. The earliest mentions go back to the 1800s, when settlers claimed they heard booming noises coming from the ground. At the time, it was blamed on air shifts, seismic activity, or even cannon testing miles away. But the sounds never stopped, and they don't behave like natural phenomena. Visitors, rangers, and researchers have all described deep mechanical noises from the sinkhole, sometimes at night, sometimes at random, low-frequency rumbles that seem to move repeating patterns, like a pulse echoes that don't match the cave's shape, and once, a sound like grinding metal deep underground. Some describe it as a drone, others say it's like standing near a giant engine, muffled under miles of rock. And when recording devices are placed near the edge, the microphones often pick up nothing, or fail completely. Geologists have proposed a few theories: thermal expansion of air inside the cave, seismic pressure shifts along deep rock faults, or simply the movement of bats and wind. But none of these explain the timing, or the unnatural consistency, or why some people hear it clearly while others standing right beside them hear nothing at all. One audio engineer tried using parabolic mics to capture the noise. The result? A deep hum that distorted on playback, without digital explanation. Some locals believe the sinkhole is more than a cave, that it connects to something deeper, maybe even man-made tunnels or ancient structures. There are also whispers of military interest. In the 1990s, unmarked helicopters were seen flying low over the area at night. No lights, no markings, no explanation from any agency. And in 2004, a group of independent spelunkers claimed they heard what sounded like a voice, speaking in a language they couldn't identify, echoing back from the black. They never went back. What's really down there? The Devil's Sinkhole has never been fully explored. Its narrow shape makes it dangerous, too deep for ropes, too unstable for robots. And those who try often lose GPS signal, comms, and visual feed before reaching the bottom. So no one knows what's at the base, but the sounds keep coming, and some say they're getting louder, because sometimes the earth opens its mouth and doesn't scream. It hums, it breathes, it waits. And if something is still moving down there, we haven't met it yet. The Toya Ghost Light, the forgotten phantom of West Texas. Toya, Texas. Pop, 100 and falling. A forgotten town in the middle of the desert. One bar, one church, one stretch of abandoned rail. But late at night, something still moves out there. Something that lights up the old tracks and never leaves a shadow. Long before Marfa became famous for its lights, residents of Toya, 80 miles west, were seeing something just as strange. It started in the early 1900s. Rail workers and cattlemen spoke of a glowing light that moved along the tracks outside town. Not a lantern, not a train, a floating orb, pale yellow or white, that hovered, swayed, and then vanished. Sometimes it moved slowly, as if patrolling. Other times it blinked, or split into two. Unlike Marfa, which has been studied and somewhat commercialized, Toya's light remains mostly undocumented. Locals say that's because it doesn't appear for tourists. It shows up on stormy nights when no one is watching, or just long enough to make you doubt yourself. One farmer claimed it followed him back to his truck, floating parallel to the road. He didn't tell anyone for 10 years. There's no official investigation, no university studies, no historical marker. but theories echo those tied to other ghost lights. Piezoelectric discharges from underground quartz, swamp gas, though Toya has no swamps, refracted headlights. There's no highway nearby, but the stories don't add up. One sighting came in 1948, long before cars reached the region regularly. Another involved two sheriff's deputies who saw the light dancing in figure eights across the old switching yard. They chased it. It disappeared. Some say the light is tied to a train wreck in 1911 that killed a conductor, whose body was never recovered. Others believe it's energy trapped in the rail line itself, a psychic echo of a time when the tracks pulsed with life. And then there are those who call it a watcher, a spirit that moves between towns at night, never showing its true form, only its glow. Today, Toya is nearly a ghost town. The post office is gone, the school closed, and most houses sit empty. But those who still live there, they don't laugh at the stories. One rancher, when asked about the light, just said, "You don't look for it. It finds you, and when it does, you turn around and go home." So what is it? A trick of the air, a memory in motion, or something older, still walking the tracks? Because in West Texas, not everything that glows is trying to be seen. The missing boys of Pikton vanished without a trace. Pikton, Texas, 1985 to 1988. 3 teenage boys, 3 separate disappearances. Same small town, same unanswered questions, and no one was ever found. James Kent, 17, disappeared on the way home from football practice in October 1985. He called his mom around 7:10 p.m. to say he was on his way. He never made it. His car was found just off a dirt road outside town, engine off, doors locked. No signs of struggle, no footprints, no broken glass, just gone. Cody Rios, 16, vanished in April 1987. He was walking home from a classmate's house, a 10-minute route. A neighbor saw him cross the street, and then nothing. His bike was found propped against a fence 3 blocks away, tires intact, kickstand down, as if he got off willingly. Police brought in dogs, helicopters, volunteers. No scent trail, no body, no leads. Devon Moore, 15, disappeared in June 1988, walking to the local convenience store. CCTV showed him entering the store, buying chips and a soda, leaving, and then never seen again. The security footage showed a single black pickup truck in the background, parked across the street. It was never identified. All boys, all from Pikton, all gone. The local sheriff's department initially treated the cases as unrelated. No physical evidence, no signs of abduction, no witnesses. But the families pushed back. All boys were under 18, all disappeared on foot. All were seen just minutes before vanishing. None had a history of running away, and yet not one clue, not a sock, not a bone, was ever found. Some blamed a traveling predator, a drifter using back roads to target small towns. Others suspected someone within the community, a neighbor, a coach, a trusted adult no one would suspect. There were even rumors of a hidden religious group operating on private land nearby, tied to disappearances across East Texas. But without evidence, all theories stayed rumors. By the early 90s, media attention disappeared. Case files grew cold. Officers retired. Sheriffs changed. And one by one, the boys' families moved away. Except for James Kent's mother. She still lives in Pikton. She still leaves the porch light on. She still tells people, they didn't run, they were taken, all 3 of them, by someone who knows these roads better than we do. In 2002, a private researcher studying cold cases noticed the Pikton disappearances matched others across rural Texas. Remote towns, no evidence. Same age range, 0 resolution. He tried to connect them, but police weren't interested. One retired detective reportedly told him, "You don't know what you're poking at." Some places don't want answers, they just want quiet. So what happened in Pikton, Texas? Coincidence, cover-up, or something no one wants to name? Because if 3 boys can vanish from the same town in 3 years, and the world just moves on, how many more are already gone? Some places don't give up their secrets. Some never meant to. But they leave marks. On maps, in case files, in people who still wait for answers that never came. If these stories unsettled something in you, You're not alone. There are more towns, more names, more silence. So don't stop here. Tap the playlist. Follow the trail. Find what still waits in the dark corners of the map. And if this video stayed with you, leave a like, share it, and don't forget, sometimes what's missing is still out there.